Hey everyone, it's Sushi Penguin 42 here, and today I'm going to be giving you a little guide on how to use the Ender Chest. Alright, quickly before we start, let me explain how I'm using the Ender Chest here. So here we have 3 rows of 9 shulker boxes, with 27 in total, and 2 of these rows have things in them, one of them does not. So the 2 rows in the front have shulker boxes with categories in them, and each have their own items. And on the bottom, I have 9 empty shulker boxes for storage. Alright, now let's start with our first shulker box. Alright, so my first box of choice is the valuables box. In this box, I put my diamonds, my diamond ore, my emeralds, my gold. Basically anything valuable you want to put here. So for example, I have some netherite here, some heart of the seas, some nautilus shells, some beacon things, trident, some lapis. I wouldn't recommend putting too much lapis in here because it really clogs up your inventory. I would just put it like somewhere else, maybe in a chest outside of your ender chest, because you don't need it that often. It's kind of useless. Just put a little bit, it's fine. And you might want to switch some of these up too, like for example the iron and the gold. If you have an iron or gold farm, you probably don't want to carry these in here because you'll probably put them in other chests or in larger quantities somewhere else. Some other things you could put are like music discs maybe, or sponges if you don't have any. Just like anything that's valuable in general should be kept here. But be careful with your valuables chest, because if you lose this, that's like, yeah, that's a lot of stuff you're losing. So you might want to just put this somewhere else, like maybe only take it out of your ender chest every once in a while, or put it like inside of your storage system where it can't be lost. Alright, this second box is arguably the most important box in your entire ender chest. So this is the tool box. You're going to want to have a spare set of armor, a spare set of tools in case yours runs out of durability. Maybe some elytras here and there too if you're rich. If your elytra breaks, you can just take these out. Also some bottles of enchanting, some sponges, anything that you would consider extremely useful and that you need all the time. The things I would recommend 100% keeping is ice for water or the water bucket, some obsidian and flint steel in case you get stuck in the nether, some anvils, self-explanatory, and bone meal. Because you're gonna need this all the time, like bone meal is one of the most important resources in this game. But besides that, everything else can be to your choosing, like turtle shells. Maybe don't use this if you live in like a desert or somewhere really far inland where you don't go to water that much. But if you live in water, you're gonna want to have this turtle shell available. Or maybe a stone cutter if you're building with stone. Or even shears if you live in a forest. Just anything that you would need on a regular basis should be put in here. Alright, the fourth box of your ender chest should be the dye box. So this box would include, all of your dyes, every single color. And then maybe some beds and some other stuff that you want to dye. For example, some wool, some terracotta, and some glass. Don't put concrete in here, as it requires a lot of materials to create. For example, sand and gravel. And you usually craft it on the go. But otherwise, just put all the dyes you'll ever need in this box, so you always have them when you need them. On to the fifth box, the fateful redstone box. So this box should include some sticky pistons, some pistons, dispensers, droppers, observers, lamps, soul sand and magma blocks for the elevators, and then a target block maybe, some hoppers, chests, and the iron trapdoors and doors. Then you have your daylight detectors, your tripwire hooks, and then some wool colors, because you should always be putting wool colors underneath your redstone when you're building something in order to maintain organization. If you don't have these, feel free to keep them out of the ender chest, just put what you have. And then on the bottom row, you have your redstone, your redstone dust, your redstone torch, repeaters and comparators, and then some rails if you ever use rails. Maybe even feel free to put some iron in here, because iron is useful for crafting many of these components, such as the hopper, the piston, or these iron trapdoors and doors. Alright, this sixth box is the wood box. So this box should either be like this with all the different colors of wood together in a big stack. So this is useful if you have an abundance of wood types and you can just carry them around, so if you ever need them, you can always have them there. Or alternatively, if you only use one color of wood, you can have your box set up something like this, so that it includes every type of one color of wood. So for example, if your base only has oak wood in it, then you might consider doing something like this. But if you don't use wood that often, mainly use it for crafting, maybe consider something like this, because this holds a lot more wood in one place than this does, and also holds more variety. Alright, so our next box is the stone box. So this box, you have your stone, your cobblestone, your smooth stone, and then the 3 types, which I consider to be granite, diorite, and andesite. But these can be changed out as well. For example, if you only build with these stones, you can do the same thing I did here and have the slabs and stairs and the different types of fences and things. But I prefer to have them like this because you can take this stone and then you can craft it into slabs and stairs. But either way works, you know, whatever floats your boat. Otherwise, this box is very simple. Just put all your stony things in here. Alright, our 8th shulker box is the nature box. So here I have some leaves, some flowers, and some mushrooms. And then on the middle row I have some cactus, lily pad, ferns, even more flowers. So these are like the taller thingies. And then on the bottom I have some more miscellaneous items like some coral, maybe bee's nests, saplings, and then some of these new nether vines and some seagrass. But obviously this can be like very interchangeable since there's so many nature blocks in this game. For example, you don't only have to have oak leaves, you can also have like dark oak leaves, birch leaves if you prefer to build with different kinds. Or you can have some bamboo for some terraforming instead of seagrass. Or maybe fill in this slot with some podzol or some other things. Basically anything you would use for terraforming or you would put in like a flower pot, think it's natural, should go here. Now this 9th box is going to be the nether block. So here I would have my crimson and warped nylium and also maybe the stems. And then put some soul sand, some nether bricks, maybe some blackstone and basalt. Basically anything nethery, just put it in here, chuck it in here. But don't put netherrack here. Because netherrack takes up a huge amount of space in your inventory. You have it all the time and you always want to get rid of it. So there's no use in putting it in your shulker box unless you really need it for something. And I left a few spaces blank here because you could put other stuff like magma cream, blaze rods, like things you get from killing nether mobs. But I prefer not to put that there. I prefer to just put it in the junk chest and then sort it into my big storage system. But anyways, I just have these blocks. You can feel free to change this up as much as you want. It's just a generic nether box. Alright, this next box is the building blocks. Also a very important box. It's basically all of the boxes that you would have for your materials and your base. So for example, I'm building modern here, so I have some concrete and some terracotta, even a little smooth stone and some end rods mixed in. So if my base, for example, looks something like this, and then a creeper blows a hole in the side of my base, I just take the blocks from here, and then I can patch them up like this. So it's very useful in that sense. But you might also want to, for example, if you want to build a new section of your base over there, you have some nice materials to start with. But obviously, if your base is something like maybe a wizard's castle, you would put some spruce wood and some cobblestone or something like that in your building box. So, you know, mix it up as you see fit. Alright, now we're moving to the other side of my little wall here. And the first box we have is the dirt box. So here I would recommend putting your grass blocks and then your dirt blocks down here. But also put some podzol and mycelium. Additionally, you can put your hoe here or even a shovel. So you can make those farmland and path blocks by right-clicking on the grass blocks. Which is why you want to have these in here rather than just dirt. But this box is really useful for terraforming, or if like a creeper blows a hole in your base and you just want to quickly patch it up. You can even have some of these spaces empty. For example, if I leave these empty and just put some blocks in here, so that if your inventory gets full, you can just shift-click these items in here, which is really nice for cleaning out your inventory. But I prefer to have it like this because I have OCD and this looks really nice. Alright, now on to the mining box. So this box, I would just put all of your ores in. So for example, I have some iron ore, then coal, maybe even some of the new nether ores. Or you could put ancient debris in here, you know, whatever floats your boat, whatever you're mining at the moment. But unlike the other boxes where I say it's okay to either have them completely full or have some of them empty, I would recommend for this box you keep some of the slots empty. Because for example, if I have some items in my inventory that I just mined, I shift click them, it's really nice. But if you fill it up, you can't do that. And with a mining box, that's really important because this is the box that you're going to be taking with you when you mine. So you always want there to be room for extra ores. So for example, don't do what I did here and completely fill up the nether gold ore. Take this back to your base and put it in your storage system instead. Additionally, you should also have a fortune pickaxe here. So you can mine these ores if you prefer to use silk touch. Or if you use the fortune pick directly, instead of using ores like I've done here, you could just use the items themselves. So for example, replace the iron ore with just iron, or replace the coal ore with just coal. Alright, now for a very simple box, the concrete box. So in this box, all you need is your gravel and your sand, and a water bucket for converting your concrete. So super simple, just take this, combine it with your dye box, and you can make concrete on demand whenever you like. Alright, now these last few boxes aren't as important as the ones that came before, but they're still nice to have. So if you're out of shulker boxes or low on shulker shells, then you should probably just do those and skip these. But anyway, this box is the mob box. So what I've put here is string and gunpowder because like these are the things that I consider really useful from your mob farms. But if you can put other stuff in here too, like maybe rotten flesh or bones, anything that you would kill for mobs, you know, might as well just put it in here. So if you like just fight one on the way to your base or something, you can just shove it in this shulker box. Alright, now this box is actually one of my favorite boxes to mess around with in my ender chest, and it's the potion box. So here, I'll put all of the potions that I'll ever need. It's not as necessary as the previous boxes, but it's always fun. So here I have my invisibility potions if I want to mess with people. Fire res is one of the better ones if you're going to go into the nether. Maybe some slow falling potions. The Turtle Master poison. Basically any potions that you think would be useful, you can put in here. Or alternatively, you can put potion ingredients in here. For example, you would put blaze powder, maybe magma cream, some turtle shells, scoots, anything like that. Alright, now onto this box, the combat kit. Well, this is one of the more niche boxes, but it's always nice to have. So you can put your totems here, maybe your crossbows that are all loaded up with arrows, some iron golems, maybe some strength pots, just anything you would want to like fight things with. So if you need to fight someone for whatever reason, just whip this out and then delete them with your crossbows. Alright, so here's the villager box. So I would recommend maybe putting some emeralds, some paper, some books, maybe some melons and pumpkins. Basically anything you use to trade with your villagers you can put in here. Because villagers, they take time to kind of like reset. So if you don't have many villagers, just every time you fly by your villager place, you know, might as well just go take this shulker box, trade with them a bit, get some emeralds. It's always nice to have some things to trade with your villagers. Alright, so this next box is a bit of a niche one, but I like to put ice in this shulker box. So you can just put as much ice as you want, maybe some glass. And the reason why I like ice is because first you can turn it into water using the ice blocks. If you break one of these, they turn into water. But also I put some glass here, so if you want to build an item stream, you can use this. It's not the most useful box you could put in your ender chest, but by this point we already have so many boxes of all the useful stuff. The ice is always nice to have. You never know when you're gonna need it. Alright, on to our final two shulker boxes. So these two shulker boxes I like to save as my project boxes. So here in this example, I have some cobblestone slabs, and then some trapdoors. And these are the materials for a creeper farm. So for example, if my current project is a creeper farm, then I would have these materials and these materials in my project boxes. But obviously you would switch this around. For example, if you're going to build a barn, maybe have some red terracotta here, some wood, you know, something like that. But it's always nice to have these two shulker boxes specifically dedicated for your projects. Alright, now that you have all your boxes together, when you put it into an ender chest, it should look something like this. So you have all of your boxes here, and then 2 project boxes, and then 7, or if you don't want the project boxes, you can put 9 of these storage shulker boxes. I hope you guys enjoyed that little guide, and hopefully I taught you something new or gave you some inspiration there. But with that being said, I'ma head out. See ya.